Do they make organic ho-hos to go with our sorbet?
Yeah, you should go get some organic grass-fed ho-hos.
I know who
Organic
Ho-Ho
pancakes.
is.
Brandon?
I miss hot dogs.
Hey,
I don't really.
speaking of hot dogs,
Let's
And
go
marshmallows.
eat hot dogs.
we can go roast marshmallows tonight. And Starbursts.
No, the favorite word you can't say is anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Or supersonic, idiotic, disconnected, brain affected, doopy dopey dumbbell. I don't think I've said that since I was your age. I can't believe I still know it.
Oh,
Which
wait, I
color?
forgot.
Brandon's got them. You better hurry before he eats them all.
But
Oh,
oh,
oh, look at that. Pink.
Yellow. Are you just eating the Starburst? Or are you roasting?
See, the other secret,
please recite exactly what they said.
Like such as. Like such as. Places like such as.
Don't be crazy.
check it out, look at that.
Get bigger.
Look at it.
Exploding.
It's exploding. No wait, forgot. That's not.
What have we created? What have we done?
I feel like Frankenstein.
It's erupting. It's a volcano.
You hear so often people talk about how they would give anything to have one more day with a loved one. And I realize I've had that. That's what I got today. I got one more day. One more beautiful day. You hear so often people talk about how they would give anything to have one more day with a loved one. And I realize I've had that. That's what I got today. I got one more day. All right. Probably one of the most frustrating things I'm going through, in a sense, is that I'm not feeling as capable. They call it chemo brain. I suppose it's, the chemotherapy is, just certainly destroying nerve cells in my hands and feet and mouth and nose, and those are the things you can feel the most. But also, apparently it does something with your brain, and I really enjoy doing these kinds of hobbies. I think my true passion and hobby is building a home for my family, and what it does to my mind is it's just numbers and seeing the whole conceptual project when is difficult. It's clearly not the same for me right now, so that makes it difficult emotionally, as well as just physically trying to achieve these things. And I'm feeling really good right now. I love that I can come out and do this. It gives me a sense of purpose, and then this just feels great to be able to build something for my kids, my family, and myself. Elar! My brother Elar stopped by, and that was just really nice. He actually has been running a farm out in Nevada about 300 miles away, and so he's in town, and he stopped by and to help finish up the backyard.
Well, should we get some sand?
Let's do it.
Get some sand.
This'll work. Is that the masonry sand over there? Yep. I got an outpouring of love and support from family, friends, community. Everything from just their time, their money, their efforts. It was hard to accept. It was hard I was rejecting it initially. It was like, look guys, thank you so much, but I don't need handouts. You know, life isn't fair, you know, and I accept that. My mom came to me, and she came to me, she says, whoa, whoa, whoa. You've given your whole life. You're naturally a giver. And you look at your life and you're so grateful for all you've done, all those moments you've given. It would be nothing if there wasn't somebody to receive. And it is your turn to receive. You're in need. Don't refuse that love. And when I didn't, immediately the next day, it was like I opened a gate to let love in. And I bonded with people, and I bonded with my family, and I bonded with everyone. And the love was just overwhelming. And I felt so good. It just compounded how grateful I was for my life. Even though I was in pain, and I was miserable, and almost couldn't tolerate it, it made it tolerable. It made me feel like I could die that day in peace, and it wouldn't matter. It made me want to live too. I wanted more of that, but it made everything okay. One of the most touching gifts or gestures of love came from Elar. And he literally just put his life on hold to come out, and he knew I had this deck planned I've had for several years, and every year we think we have the time or the money, and we don't, and to do it. But this year he came out, and he decided that he was going to make that happen. And he absolutely did the most amazing job. And he worked so hard and so many hours and poured his soul into that project, and it just shows. Few things in my life ever turned out exactly like I envisioned them. And the backyard is one of those. All those moments you've given, it would be nothing if there wasn't somebody to receive. And it is your turn to receive. You're in need. Don't refuse that love. So the boys have just been begging to go ride motorcycles. And that's just one thing, I tell you what, we just love all of us. And that's kind of the boys' day out, is to throw those motorcycles in the truck, get out there and ride them around. Kind of what it's about. I love coming out here. I love just watching them ride their motorcycles around. I had a little YZ80 motorcycle growing up as a kid, and I just had so many great experiences. Guys, okay? And then when you see my hand go, see who's the first one to me, okay? Go down there and get set up. You know, and I think there's some important lessons to be learned when, you know, putting them out here on these motorcycles. They're small enough they can't really get hurt. And it's challenging for them. And, you know, you learn lessons on, you respect momentum, you respect, you know, just power, and it's good to put them on these little bikes and let them crash and burn and get a bump or a bruise. There we go. Huh? You ready? There's lessons, but really it's just fun.
We decided actually to just spend a little time together, and his mom was home and was willing to take Miller. And we just hopped in the car and drove down and dropped him off, and we were able to go catch some lunch. Do you want to try any Nick Gary?
Yeah, actually.
Scallops or the red snapper?
Red snapper.
Okay. Photo guy? Is that what it is? Photo guy? Thank you very much. Well, right now, this is the hardest. I think this is the hardest time because it's been effective. You're great, and we have this hope that things are going to be wonderful. But it's, you know, then you have the doctor saying that it will come back.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time. So right now, it's just this waiting. It's just wait. You wait.
Yeah.
And see what's going to happen.
Just a fear, a scare, you know, it's just it's haunting. That's how I feel. But I can cope with it as long as I feel like I'm doing what I can. So what are we gonna do for Miller's birthday cake?
Traditionally, for all of our kids' birthday, our present to them is the birthday cake.
Ginger and I really love to try and make the cakes together. That's one of the things we try to make time to do. And I think we enjoy it more than the kids do. It's our little project.
We try and do something unique to them, or their personality, or their likes, or their hobbies. And as Miller's first birthday, we're not quite sure what he's into, but his favorite things are anything with wheels or balls.
Yeah.
With that fear of him possibly not being there, you know, just every day is still the same. We still eat, we still do all the same things, but it's just more precious to me. I think, I don't know how else to describe it. It's just, and it's nothing there's nothing you can do about it, but except for just be grateful for the day that you had, you know, so. Miraculously, we got the birthday cake done just in time, right before the party.
And it's always fun to see how the cake turns out. This one we started and with an idea and ended up with something completely different, but we liked it. I thought it was really just perfect for a little Miller's first birthday cake.
With that fear of him possibly not being there, you know, just every day is still the same. We still eat, we still do all the same things, but it's just more precious to me. I think, I don't know how else to describe it. It's just, and it's nothing there's nothing you can do about it, but except for just be grateful for the day that you had, you know, so.
I did a flyer essentially in a paper and posted a few places. And basically it says, our flower shop sells flowers that don't die. And so that's why we're trying to promote our business. It came from a day when my wife and I were doing some spring cleaning, and just a couple years ago. And we came across a shoebox. And inside was every card or note I'd ever written her. She kept those. And I bought her flowers a few times, you know, while we were dating and throughout our marriage. And when we were pulling out this box, she pulled out the card and she reads the note. And she goes on to tell me how much she remembers that moment. And one time it was a single rose. She knew what I was wearing, she knew what she was wearing, she knew the day, she knew everything about that moment. And I had this epiphany. And I looked at that and I thought, that $3 I spent on that rose, $5, whatever it was, or the $80 that time for something bigger, I bought a memory and it didn't die. And I was looking at this little shoebox, and my only regret was that it was a little shoebox. and that I didn't do it more often. If my time is short, maybe she can watch a video here of me to be reminded how much I really do love her. How sorry I am. And I hope with all my heart I get to see her again.
There's a million reasons why I married Bryce or why I fell in love with Bryce. And he can do anything. I mean, his nickname is MacGyver, and he is just that guy that I wanted to be the dad for my kids, you know, and before I ever had kids, and he is that guy. He's that and more. And I think part of the heartbreak that I have is just watching my kids that are so amazing too, but you know, I want him to be there to teach them those, and they still have a lifetime of things to learn. They have so much to learn. He has so much to offer them. That is just, no one can fill his shoes.
When I say, what do I want my kids to know? Love, kindness, and patience, integrity, and the paths in life that produce happiness, and the paths in lives that produce unhappiness. And I don't think it's so much a matter of passing on that knowledge, and that's the tragedy I feel, is that to instill those in people takes giving love, but takes example. And if I'm not going to be there to give that example, that's the tragedy in my life. I can't tell them this is true because it means nothing.
Life is just all moments. There's never going to be that stopping point or that arrival point where you get there and things are perfect. Your house is perfectly clean and now you can enjoy life, because there's always going to be something. I think that all of those moments need to be this moment. Sometimes you don't stop to experience the joys and I'm sorry, the little moments of happiness, and there's been so many.
What has made my life full are the long-term commitments. That's when you pour your soul out and give to build a relationship with someone else. Those are the things that make life beautiful. And being loved is so essential in our ability to grow and be happy. In an afterlife, your relationships, your actions, your kindness, the moments you shared, and the examples you set perpetuate, whether here in life or in the afterlife. How grateful I am to have had the opportunity to have a family. It is the single most naturally powerful element in producing happiness. And I think it's an enormous amount of work, but the rewards have never been matched. And nothing I've done, seen, or experienced in life matches the purpose I feel and the happiness I feel of building a family.